How's it, sticklers? You know it's the Joystick Show, where three brothers from Hawaii have gathered to talk story about things we've read, watched, or played. Shakas on my hollows for sticking around. And if you fancy what you hear, please like and subscribe on the platform you frequent. I'm your co-host, Drake. And that's Thomas.
What up, what up?
And that's Scott.
How's it?
And today we've got a litany of things to talk about. We have a couple of things to talk about in news. We'll get to review Thomas's LACC and or LA Comic-Con trip. We'll talk about how Taylor Swift is the Time Person of the Year. A little bit of Godzilla Minus One's success, and Max and A24 have signed a deal to give us more things for viewing. We've also got a little bit of trailers with The Boys Season 4, House of Dragon Season 2, Godzilla by Kong, and GTA 6. Pew pew. And lastly, we'll close out with some reviews where we'll go over Dumb Money, Gran Turismo, The Killer, and of course, Invincible. So, with that being said, remember, like and subscribe.
There you go. Oh, his programming just short-circuited. Reboot.
Him.
Yes, so LA Comic-Con was this past weekend, and it was a blast. You know, I was super fortunate this year to go to a bunch of different cons. I did DreamHack, I did San Diego Comic-Con, I did BlizzCon, but LA Comic-Con is always my favorite. Like, it was so nice. Like, you know, friends and guests that we've had on the show this year were there. Getting to hang out with a lot of those people in person was a blast. I was 10 feet away from Natasha Leo Bordizzo and Ivana Sakno from Ahsoka. I was, less than 10 feet away from Matt Smith from House of the Dragon, Morbius, Doctor Who.
Banger.
Right. Really close to the Lord of the Rings guys. Like Sean Astin was looking me in the eyes. Ooh. And it was crazy. So it was just a blast. It always brings out a ton of talent. It's so awesome that the strike is done and that these actors and writers can get back to doing what they do and also talk about their work. That was all fantastic. And just so much good, incredible comic book creators out there. Man, it was awesome. I love this event.
Well, if you could name one moment in that event where you look back at it and you go, this is probably something I'm going to take home to the bank, Shorty, what you drank, what would that moment be?
Yeah, I think you guys know about it, but this was obviously because I texted you right after. But, for me, being a fan of the movies, but probably, and truthfully, a bigger fan of his podcast, Fat Man Beyond, seeing Kevin Smith and being able to talk to him and take a picture of him was kind of surreal. I don't always really get starstruck, but I think that one, I was kind of nervous. Right. And he was doing this panel for I think it's called Hope in Comics or something like that, but it was basically like cancer in comics. So they had a cancer survivor who writes comics. There was a cancer survivor who basically just had this crazy ordeal. And then the head of the Cancer Institute for Research, and then Kevin Smith. And so they were just talking about all these crazy examples and how comics can provide a place of hope and really a place of comfort for people who are going through traumatic things. I guess that's how I really related to it because one of the guys there, Jason, who had stomach cancer, really relied on Marvel and DC and Star Wars to kind of get through his darkest times. And you guys know that's something I've really fell back on, but also like doing this podcast. So having that moment, getting to tell Kevin Smith and like these two giant security guards are like pulling him out, lead blocking for him. I was like, Mr. Smith, can I talk to you really quick? And, he turned around, was super gracious. I told him my story. His mouth was just like wide open. And like he was, freaking out kind of. And, long story short, he ended up taking some pictures with me. Super amazing, incredible dude. And yeah, then security like pulled him out. And then there was like a line of people behind me that he just was like, bye everybody, and left. So I was lucky enough to like be the person that snuck in front and to talk to him really quick. And yeah, I think I'll always kind of remember it because he was so awesome, so nice. And and then he leaned on me and like made some funny faces. So that was cool.
That's a highlight.
Follow-up question. Was he taller than you?
He was not.
Okay.
He was, maybe like 4 inches short, 3 inches shorter, maybe.
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't think I'm that tall, but it's funny. Like, I think when I meet people in real life, they think I'm shorter than I am. So I don't know if I just look like that. Maybe it's like how pudgy my face is getting or something. I don't know. But people think I'm maybe shorter than I am.
Short person energy.
I can imagine when, some of the people listening to the show meet Scott, they're going to be like, what the frick? Like, dude, why are you so tall?
Tiny.
Yeah. He's so tiny and petite. Would have never guessed.
Sometimes I forget. I'm not even that tall, but sometimes I forget that I'm like taller than, especially down here in Hawaii. Like Christine is like really small. When we stand next to each other in a mirror, I'm like, whoa, we are like so different in sizes.
Well, you know who's taller than all of us?
Fucking Yao Ming, man.
Time Person of the Year, Taylor Swift.
Yeah. Oh, can I just say a few other things?
Oh, yeah, of course.
About the Comic-Con. A lot of amazing panels, too, that were great. But also, like, we have, like, a longer recap and stuff coming out with the Geek Freaks. I'm not sure if we're going to add it to this or not. If you hear it, it'll be in the front of this episode. So that will be also there, too. But check us out on social media because I try to recap every day. And the cosplay was insane. Like, people went out so hard on the cosplay. It was phenomenal. Like, man, just people do such a good job. And there's like more stuff that we'll be posting. So yeah, check it out on the socials.
Okay.
Sick.
Yeah. Taylor Swift.
So, yeah.
Are you guys surprised?
No.
I don't. Yeah, right? Like, I'm not surprised. Like, of course she's Times Person of the Year. Everything she touched this year turned into gold.
She's the Elon Musk. Including what?
I was going to say, including like Travis Kelce, because like, who even was that guy before Taylor Swift?
Oh my goodness. We all know who Travis Kelce
Did he even play baseball?
Yeah. He's so good at the sports balls. But like, I'm not surprised. $1 billion on the Eras tour. Her movie was like one of the top movies when it debuted, which is insane.
And then the fact that like when I found out like any town she enters, she just like ups all the business like she's the Olympics or something. Like it's fucking insane. Yeah,
she's a force to be reckoned with. She's definitely like an Elon Musk or like a Jeff Bezos, but of like pop culture.
Totally. I mean, between movies and music, and I mean, there's like no part of the zeitgeist of pop culture that she didn't touch this year. In our sphere, or at least in my sphere particularly, like everybody is wondering if she's going to be in Deadpool 3 because she's friends with Blake Lively, I guess friends with Ryan Reynolds too in a way. And like, yeah. And then she saw a scene at one of the Chiefs games with Hugh Jackman, with the director, Sean Levy. So the chances there that she's probably going to be in the movie.
I feel like it's really high. We know Ryan Reynolds is a good businessman. And like, why wouldn't you put this person right now who's like hotter than ever in your fucking movie? You're gonna bring people who don't even like. I don't even care about Deadpool. I just love Swiftie. They're gonna buy a ticket. Like it's gonna be crazy.
Do you think there's any point where he just like kills her off in like the first 5 minutes?
Of course.
She just gets her head chopped off or something. Oh my god! I wonder how that's gonna
brutal. I don't know.
Do you think like Swifties are gonna like freak out if that happens?
I think Swifties are gonna absorb it, just like how Taylor Swift has worked with SNL and done those like funny parody songs. Like,
she's familiar with how comedy and all that works.
Yeah, and like it helps build your brand. Like when Drake does funny stuff, like he's funny. He's a funny dude. So just bring it.
Yeah, totally. I just watched that. What is it called? Like first person shooter. It's like a new Drake J. Cole song. And in it, they're like dressed as Spider-Man and then they shoot basketballs like into space and make it's like so ridiculous and over the top. But like the song is absolute fire. Like, these celebrities, I mean, when you're at Drake or Taylor Swift level, it's like you can kind of do whatever the F you want. I feel like it's.
Just don't be a bad person and you're pretty set.
Right. Don't be a complete shithead. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, anyways, that's Taylor Swift. Cool. Incredible, not surprised, Person of the Year, Times Magazine's Person of the Year. Godzilla -1. This is something that a lot of people didn't see coming from what it sounds like, and yet shouldn't be a surprise in a way. The original studio that owns Godzilla and the rights to it created their own movie from a Japanese studio, and it debuted worldwide at $38,913,778. Like, it is booming. It's gotten a 98% on Rotten Tomatoes at the time of this recording. Dude, it's everybody that I've seen who's seen it is saying, like, this is the best Godzilla movie I've ever seen. Like, I know none of us have been able to watch it. Like, does that make you guys more or less excited to see it? Why do you think it's doing so well?
I mean, I remember rewatching Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla like over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. And the reason why is because of like the intrigue of like, look at all this small intricate detail in this kind of sort of low budget for the time or high budget.
It was just a dude in a suit, right?
Yeah, just a dude in a suit.
It's a dude in a rubber suit.
But they did such a great job of like telling the story and showing through the movements of the suited up people. Like, you cared. And I think this one pays homage to that in a more modern way from what I've seen and what I've read. So I think that's why people are about it, because it actually gives you back that nostalgia while still marching you forward.
Totally.
Yeah. This one, I mean, I think it like looks, it like has that classic feel of an old Godzilla movie, but the CG and everything are like, it's like real modern, but not so like the new Godzilla Kong, like where it's like, it feels like it's overproduced. Like, it feels like it's a good mash between like Godzilla's done right, and then all like the regular people part have that, like the regular people being filmed have that feel of the old kind of Godzilla films.
Yeah, I think overproduced.
It feels cool.
Yeah, overproduced is kind of the right word. Like, yeah, you're right about that. I'm like, how do you explain it? But I think that's the perfect way to explain it. It's like something about it is like almost too polished in a way that it, like, and it's so over the top. It feels like Fast and the Furious for monster, the MonsterVerse.
Yeah.
You
like,
know,
it's weird. Like, yeah, when certain things are too overproduced, like I feel like it's like my excitement goes up, and then when it's like overproduced, it starts going back down. Mm-hmm. Like, oh yeah, like when the Transformers starts getting like too crazy and like. At this point, we're not impressed with the visual. Like, we're impressed with the visuals, but we're like, okay, we've seen great visuals, now story. So, like, but once the story starts going, you're like, all right, I already seen badass Transformers. Like, you're like spoiled in that sense. You can't help it. Right. So, yeah. I'm excited, though. This movie looks really good. I need to find time to go watch it.
Yeah, likewise. You know, Mark, who does the podcast with Kevin also, he was saying that he's like 100%. He's like, this is a movie you got to see in theaters. And he's like, he doesn't say that all the time. He really doesn't say that. Like, I don't think he said that for a Marvel movie this year. I don't think he said it. I don't even remember him saying it for Oppenheimer. Maybe he couldn't talk about it because of the strike, but still, like, him saying that is like, oh shit, okay, I'm getting to the theaters to watch this one. Plus, it's a Japanese studio.
Yeah, but also, I think Mark rented out the movie theater for Kong vs. Godzilla with his family, I believe.
That's true.
So I think he might be a really big fan of that. So
yeah, they're friends with the guys who own movie theaters, so I don't know if that really counts either.
Yeah. But the fact that, you know, you could have rented a movie theater out for any movie, he's like, I'm going for that. Like, and this is a good story, it seems, so even better, right?
Yeah. Man, yeah, it looks phenomenal. Like, just I wonder how this doing so well affects Godzilla X Kong, which we're getting into trailers in a second, because, you know, like, that is going to be the big studio's push for like the new Godzilla movie. And like, with this doing so well, I wonder if it changes anything with that movie. I don't know. But yeah. I would say they have to probably take notes from it, right? So, I don't know. We're actually jumping into it because that movie's done by Max. And today we got breaking news that Max and A24 are signing a post-theatrical run deal. So all movies after they're in the theaters are going to be ending up on Max that A24 produces, which is, to me, is big news.
Yep.
Like, you know, A24 is so hot. Everything they do gets lauded. It gets, gets its flowers, gets praised. And even if it doesn't make like $1 bajillion, people are still amazed by what A24 is doing and allowing new creators, new directors, new writers to like flourish in it. It's going to be really interesting to see how this works out. And I think it's a really smart move for Max. What is your guys' take on this news that just dropped a couple hours ago?
I think that's awesome. I mean, the fact that I've heard multiple people, not just us, kind of see a style of a movie and say, even if it's not A24, like, oh, it feels like an A24 film. Like, and there's a reason that's a saying, right? Like, they're fucking, they are hot right now. And that's awesome for Max, especially because I'm seeing more and more Max things drop on like Netflix now and stuff. And it kind of makes me worry that it's going to go away. Mm-hmm. This might be, I don't know what it's like behind, all the things we don't know
the
about,
office rooms.
Yeah. But hopefully this is like, they're like, oh, let's take a step into this direction where we get to stay around. Like, and I think it'll help.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. What is your take on it, Drake?
I think it's, from a consumer point of view, it adds a lot of value to, if they're going to be exclusive per se, it's going to add a lot of value to Max as a whole. I really think, A24 Studio has always kind of been really innovating, and Max, to a degree, is a very antiquated, home box office. You had to pay for it back in the day, and then you would get those late night sensual movies, but then you would have all the great comedies,
which they don't even have on Max. So
exactly.
Giant miss.
And so I think A24 is going to help both of them stay relevant, like Scott was talking about too, because A24 is relatively small. But longevity for both, projects for both. If HBO can help give that A24 even more money, A24 can continue to survive and thrive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's a super, super smart deal and benefits both studios and the streaming app equally. So for sure, it's so sick. And A24 has some awesome movies dropping next year, but we got to move on to some trailers. Mm-hmm. The first one was the Saturday of Comic-Con. It dropped The Boys Season 4 teaser. We're getting more of The Boys. We're getting all the blood and gut. We're seeing Homelander just as unhinged as ever, and like with nobody to get him in check. That was my take from watching this trailer. And then more of the boys just trying to kill Soups. What did you guys think about it?
I just excited. I mean, the only thing I can really say is that I'm super excited to continue on, even with not necessarily having watched Gen V and then getting into just watching the final episode with all of our discussions. It's made me rekindle that appreciation for the boys. So to be honest, I'm just excited to watch it.
Yeah, same. And I can second that with Homelander in the background, like the chaos is erupting and he's just like smiling and stuff. Like he's just, I can't wait to see more Homelander be fucking an a-hole and more of the boys trying to stop him.
Yeah, isn't it weird? He's like, again, I always use this example, but like the Joffrey of it, and yet like you want to see more of him because you want to see what other like fucked up stuff he does to people, which is so bad. But you see the Deep looking at an octopus like very longingly, so that's gonna get real weird.
Yep.
The other thing I will say about the show is like I feel like it's really leaning into like real world politics.
Yeah.
So if you're the type of person that's like, can our comics not have politics? Well, like, no, that's comics are a reflection of things that happen in real life. And if anybody says, well, they shouldn't get into like minority debates or politics with the X-Men, you're dead wrong. It's always been there with the comic. And it seems like this is heavily going into our real life politics. Yeah. So I think this is going to trigger some people. And I don't know if that's like the whole point to get the rhetoric going around it, but damn, is this going to fire some people up? So I don't know, man. It's going to be spicy next year when this comes out.
That's true. I'm going to enjoy it.
I feel like you're the person who like looks at the comments and then just like taps their fingers and goes,
yeah. I feel like I never have skin in the game, even like politics. I try and just like kind of distance myself. But it is fun to just like
I like to be uninformed. I like to be uninformed, not have an opinion.
Well, even if you are informed, I'm like, I mean, we don't need to get super into it, but I'm like,
get into it.
Food in Hawaii. Like I can only do as much as I can do in Hawaii. Like, so like I'm not gonna like ruin my day over something that's going on across the world, which I have no control over. just like ruin my own day, you know? So, but it is funny to like see comments blow up over like, it could be like a post about food and then like someone will drop a loaded political thing and then I'm like, oh, here we go. There's like thousands of like, well, fuck you, this is what I think. And I'm like, this is like a recipe, man. What the fuck's going on? I'm like,
yeah, it's like throwing a firecracker in the middle of a funeral procession. Like, what do you do? It just
and then you're just like out
everything.
the window. Like, that's me. I'm like, oh man, it's crazy in there.
Oh, facts. All right, yeah. So, yeah, The Boys season 4. Just a teaser, so it doesn't give you a lot, but it looks crazy. We also get Jeffrey Dean Morgan, which is sick. Yeah. The man is collecting comic book franchises like Thanos with Infinity Stones. Okay. It is insane to see him there and like bounce off Butcher. I'm super excited about that relationship.
Okay.
All right. Next thing we got is also the trailer for season 2 of House of the Dragon. Bro, what are we thinking?
Dude, looks. I'm ready for more. I at least saw. I saw at least 3 people doing one of these over the head chops with their sword.
Yeah, getting Ned Starked.
Yeah. It was like 2 like back to back, and I'm like, they're doing a lot of chopping this season. I'm
there is, yeah. We're getting a lot of those characters back. It was cool. I will also say that the day of Comic-Con Saturday, I got to be right up front and see the Boys panel with Karen Fukuhara and Erin Moriarty, who plays Kimiko in Starlight, and they were like hyped about it. They said Aaron Kripke sorry to jump back for The Boys for a second. They said Aaron Kripke is incredible, and they said he's like the Kevin Feige of that universe. They're like, anything he does, like, we trust it, we're on board with it. Guy's a genius. So that's pretty tight. And then Matt Smith, who plays Daemon in House of the Dragon, was there, and he was like, talking about wearing the wig and, hey, are you guys excited? Somebody asked him what it's like to ride a dragon. He's like, what do you think? How do you think it feels to ride a dragon? Like, it's exactly the way you think. It's fucking badass. Like, it's cool. Yeah. Like, and then you see it on screen and it looks awesome. He also said he only gets 4 wigs. He only had 4 wigs for the season 1, which is interesting. I don't know why that stood out to me, but it did. Like, you'd think he'd have like 20 or something, but he's like, those things are expensive as hell. So I only had 4 the whole season.
Oh, wow.
So I don't know. Do with that what you will. Oh. The trailer, but again, it's continuing the story. We see the 2 sides really falling apart, and there's a culmination, right? We're getting this big battle. I don't know. Anything else come to mind for you, Drake?
I'm reserved about it. Just I enjoyed season 1 of it, but then a lot of the situation just kind of made me like, oh man, there's just so much backstabbing. It makes me feel kind of iffy about it. So. But not in like a I don't want to watch it way, just in like a oh man, so much backstabbing
again.
Like that kind of thing. But not to say I won't watch it. It's just like I need to be in the right mind space. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I mean, I feel that way with The Boys too. Like both these shows, they're not like feel good, yay, everything's great in the world kind of show. They're not giving you Bob's Burger vibes. They're giving you like, oh fuck, everybody would backstab you.
Apocalypse Now vibes.
Right. So it looks, we're getting more, all the characters coming back, and it's all coming to this big battle now that Rhaenyra's son was murdered and she knows it was by her like mother-in-law's kid. So I don't really know anything else beyond that, but I'm excited to start watching the show and covering it next year. So stoked about it.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. The next thing is Godzilla X Kong. We just talked about how the Japanese version of Godzilla -1 is crushing it. Godzilla and Kong looks to expand on that universe. I think they're calling it the Monsterverse. And we have a new kind of gorilla villain.
Yeah. And Godzilla is like, he's buzzing like neon in this. He's like got the pink. It's just so weird. Like it's so different.
Is that a John Mayer reference? Well done.
Yeah.
Godzilla's
he's like,
man.
I was thinking like, man, it's like pink Godzilla. Like, wasn't he like blue in the other one? Like, did he like? Is that a level up? Do you change color? It feels very Max.
New Super Saiyan.
Like the colors that they use, purple, blue, pink.
Right. It feels like Dragon Ball Z-ish.
Yeah.
Like leveling up for sure.
Yeah.
Sorry to cut you off, but
no, you're good.
If you ever watched Congo back in the day, where they encountered those gorillas or the chimpanzees, I know that's a great
Congo.
movie. That's a great movie. Yeah. it gave me those kind of vibes in terms of like the antagonist, but it's like, so you couldn't find a different monster to add into it. You have to kind of go back into it. And then also a lot of the CG, I'm like, oh man, this is way over the top. Like what Scott was saying, verbatim, overproduced. And
yeah, right. That's the only downside of it. It looks badass in a way. I like the last one. I don't even need my issue with this is like the human stories kind of get in the way.
Yeah.
Like they're not that good, so I don't really care about them. And I just want to see them like fighting and like just people just be like, oh shit, or like trying to escape, or I don't know, like, but yeah, it feels too produced, like too much money just went into CGI.
It feels
immature.
Yeah.
I think that
like
is a good
at the
word
end
for it
when Kong and Godzilla roll up, it feels like Bad Boys, like it's like Will Smith. They're just like they're rolling up like, yeah, let's do this.
I know
they're best friends now. Like
God.
they're partners.
The only thing it's missing is like, oh, they are back to back. They just need like some back to back action, where they're like in a room and the camera's spinning around them. Like, I mean, the Kong has an axe now. Which is it was cool. They did okay in the first one, but it just like.
Oh, and he has that like he looked like he ripped off Bumblebee's arm and wore it or some shit. He has, like,
do you think that was Kong? Because I was like, is that Kong or is it was it the bad guy? I don't know. Like I was wondering about. Yeah, I was like, Kong has like power gloves now. Like, what are we doing?
Who made that for him? Like, what?
Yeah, I was so confused by that first part of the trailer.
It's Michael Bay Transformers. It's like, it's coming out. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on, but like, is the story going to be there? We don't know.
The good thing is, I guess they're not trying to mislead us with the trailer. Like this, watching this, I'm like, if I want to watch this, it's going to be leave my brain at the door, get the popcorn, get the food, and just enjoy the action. Hopefully the action's cool.
Right. For somebody who likes the Meg, I think you're on board.
Yeah, exactly. So like, that's right. I have two parts of my brain where I'm like, this movie looks dumb as fuck, but also really entertaining. This is the movie, like, when we imagine when we're kids, we're like, and then Kong comes and Godzilla, like, bam! Like, that's this movie.
This is action figure imagination movie.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And, I'm here for it too. There's a time and a place. And if it's going to be on Max, that's the place. I'm going to watch it.
The time and place is at home on Max.
Hilarious.
Yeah, I know. I don't know if this is going to draw me to the theaters, but hey, I got the movie pass. I'll probably check it out.
Might as well.
So a big video game trailer dropped. This weekend or yesterday, I think. People have been waiting for this for a long ass time.
Like 10 years?
Dude, yeah, it's like over 10 years or some crap.
Yeah. And it still gets like millions of people, I think, that play it every day or something crazy. But we're getting GTA 6. We're going back to Vice City.
Back to Vice.
What did you guys think about this trailer? Are you on board with it? Like, I don't know. What did you think?
One word, Florida Man was screaming in my head.
Yeah.
But it looks cool. Like, they got a lot going on. I read that it's going to be like more social, like they're going to dip into the whole social media aspect.
Yeah,
I don't know how
there's like a part where you see like Reels or like Instagram or like TikTok videos, and you see all the likes going up, like somebody's doing like a TikTok live or Instagram live kind of thing. So,
but it's probably gonna be really fun. I'm hoping that it's like even bigger. Like I always liked that when the new games came out, like you had more to explore. I'm hoping it's even bigger, especially with the power that we have at home, like the PS5s and whatnot. I mean, it looks cool. I'm not like a super diehard GTA, but I'm not gonna not play it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
right. Yeah.
They fall into that category of not stereotypical games, but like Halo games. Not Halo the game, but like Halo games, the ones that define kind of the studio or like the genre. And
we got there. I was like, wait, what? Like, Halo? I was like, this is like
Halo
what?
Is crap.
Stereotypical. I was like, wait. I was like, is he complimenting it or is he shitting on it? I don't know.
I took you on a ride. I took you on a journey. Here we go.
Yeah, like that.
But it's it defines a genre, and I think hopefully because of our expectations, it won't the disappointment won't be there, because games that we have come across that we were super excited for because it kind of defined the genre. Cyberpunk 2077, the Marvels in terms of kind of like that action RPG situation. So those things kind of disappointed in, to a degree. Some of them picked up, some of them didn't. But when you play a GTA game, like Scott said, you expect it to be large. You expect there to be new features. You expect it to have that same type of, I can be that person in this world. And I mean, we're in 2023 now. It's going to be 2024. So it's got to be bigger and better. It's got to be Tejas. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it comes out in 2025. So it's not even like it's coming out next year.
Even more time.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's even more time. But like the cars look real. The graphics, this looks like the most realistic looking Grand Theft Auto we've ever got. Like the fact that we're also playing off like all these real world things that happen in Florida also is pretty hilarious to me. Like I think I'm just on board with that. Because I don't know if you guys do this. I think this is a well-known thing. If you type in Florida man and then your birthday, like the craziest news articles comes up. Like guy guy robs convenience store with live alligator, or like guy tries to cartwheel away from cops to escape arrest. You know, like that kind of stuff is like for real. So do that. It's a fun game. But yeah, and also I think they were saying this looks like there's two protagonists. We start off with this lady that's in jail. There's a picture of her with an ankle monitor on. Very funny. I love ankle monitors. They crack me up. And then, you know, there's a dude that looked like they're in a relationship together. So I don't think we've ever had like a couple as like the main protagonist of GTA. So I think that's pretty unique too.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like they're opening it up like Fortnite, where like you step into your avatar and you can kind of be whatever you want, and expanding to also tend to the now growing cultural diaspora. Big words.
Yeah, I'm gonna Google that later for sure.
Oh shit, that's funny.
Yeah, so
but it is Rockstar, right, doing this, and like they do a good job with their games. So like Red Dead Redemption 2 when that came out as well was like really good. But this game GTA 6 seems like it's a little closer to home. So I guess the judging on like did they nail this is going to be a little more particular. Like no one was alive in Old West, so they can't really compare what riding a horse was like then or whatever. But I still think they put a lot of care into their games. It should be pretty solid. I think the only thing is probably like there would be some funny bugs and glitches in the beginning.
That's true. Yeah, I think you're right. I think we can expect it, but they're so good about patching that up and making it clean. I mean, look how clean. Again, Red Dead Redemption 2, Drake, as you played, man. Yep. It was so clean. Yep. And like people are still making videos about it to this day and still playing it, discovering new things. I mean, just Rockstar just endlessly like makes ways to make the game entertaining. I'm not even, again, to your guys' point, what you were saying, I'm not even that big of a GTA fan, but I'm for sure picking this game up. It looks too dope not to.
Gotta be.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So we got some reviews. I didn't see any of these except for The Killer. Oh, I saw Invincible too. But anyways, Scott, you watched Dumb Money. I really, really wanted to see this, but I wasn't able to. Well, tell us about it.
Yeah. So Dumb Money is about the GameStop stock situation that happened during COVID.
GameStop to the moon.
Hey-o. Yeah, to the moon is basically all that. And of course, when I found out about it, I was way too late. But this makes you feel like, if I was only there in the beginning, just tuning into this dude. I don't know how
Wall Street Beats.
Is that what? That's what
the
it was.
guy
right?
from Reddit.
Yeah, Roy Kitty, and he's just like, it's funny because it's like he was in this movie. Paul Dano plays him, and he is like a dude that's just giving like tips on like stocks and all that stuff. And then he's like, I think I'm gonna do one about GameStop, and then he just kind of like starts going into it. And it's like, this is why I think it's going to do well, blah, blah, blah. And then, it just starts picking up. And then it's also following Seth Rogen, who's one of, the big hedge fund, or I don't even know if I'm using the right words, but the dudes that get screwed, who are betting against the stock.
Right.
Him and Vincent D'Onofrio. And
D'Onofrio's in it?
Yeah, D'Onofrio's in it, too.
You in?
Huh?
Drake, are you in?
Yeah, I'm in.
Shocker. Yeah. And it's great. Like they check into them every once in a while in the movie and you just see them getting screwed like I lost $1 billion today kind of thing. And I'm like
shit.
Just and then they're making a ton of money. He's like, it's just cool. Like it feels like they did a good job making you feel like you're like it's like, oh, it's happening right now. It must have been a really cool time to be invested as well, and then just be like holding, like hold. I remember seeing all the comments like to the moon, like hold it, like And then in the end, you know, there's people who make out with money, and there's people who held too long. But I think overall, that whole like thing that happened was like just pretty crazy. That normally it's never the case. Like you never get to screw over like big money. But in this case in particular, for whatever reason,
that one time you get to,
fuck you, like it's cool. And Paul Dano, he killed
billionaires.
Yeah, and the what's her name, Shailene Woodley. She was
she's awesome.
Yeah, she plays his wife in this. She does a great job too. Pete Davidson's in it. He plays his like fucking brother, and like
wait, whose brother? Seth Rogen's
Paul Dano's brother.
Paul Dano's brother. Oh, my
God. When they first cut to him, he's like doing like Uber Eats or something like that, and he's drinking all the drinks. No, and he's like leaves it on the doorstep, and I'm like, oh man, like I order food sometimes. I hope no one does this.
Bro, that instantly went to my mind. I was like, how many of my Uber drivers or Uber Eats people or Postmates have like taken some sips? Like,
I know.
I like it when they keep like half of the straw covering on top. So that
or like they'll do now is they'll tape the hole like where the straw goes, and then they'll tape the bags usually with the stores.
McDonald's is great about that.
Yeah, McDonald's is great, but then some part of me thinks like, oh, maybe like, dude, if I was an Uber driver and I got access to some of this tape, he's probably like, he got real good at rewrapping presents. It's like because he's just eating fries and drinking drinks. He drops it off. He's like, knocks on the door, walks off. Like, fuck, dude. But overall, really good movie. I think it's kind of like self-explanatory. It's about that that whole thing with the GameStop, but they do it really well. Strongly recommend watching this movie.
That's great. I mean, our friends, the twins, like I remember talking because it was like January of, was it this year or last year? I can't remember. It was like 2023 this happened or like 2022, but probably 2022.
I think it was last year. Yeah.
Yeah, but I remember, them talking about it because they had some of like I don't know if I'm supposed to be saying this publicly, but they had some of the GameStop and like the AMC stock, and they were like watching it. I remember like they were watching it by the hour, like watching it go up and then up, and I was like, man, I mean, not that I wanted their downfall or anybody's downfall, but I was just like, man, one day it's just going to come back down. And I don't know if they sold it or not, but I was just like, oof, it just felt like too risky for my bones. Like, I'm not a big betting man, and that's not where I would have put my money, you know?
Yeah, and that's like I guess a small spoiler. Like, I'm not going to say who, but one of the characters in the movie is like one of the people they focus on, and they're like, they bet big, and they're getting like, you know, they're checking into their bank account. There's certain people they're like, wow, and they show like they're making this amount of money, and then at the end of the movie they show you like who made out with what, and like one of the people got in the negative, so like I guess they just held it, like, and it's just kind of sad to see, like, because in the beginning you know how much they put in, and you're like, fuck, like and the way they portrayed them in the movie, like they could have really used that money. It kind of sucks they held it.
Yeah.
But it is what it is.
It's the hardest thing in the world. Like, you know, it's just that greed. Like, you know, in a way, you know, it's like, oh, but what if it goes up another $5, $10, whatever? You know, you don't want to miss out on that. I guess the advice is buy the rumor, sell the news. Hey-o. So that's just, I don't know, but that's just a little saying I've heard. I try to do that for myself. I don't even really know what that means. But I don't even know if that's good advice. So don't come here for stock advice. That's not what we're here for. But that is, I guess, the saying you're supposed to follow. Cool, man. I really want to check it out. It'll be on my like holiday watch list for sure.
Heck yeah.
Nice. All right. What's the next movie?
I also Drake watched one too, but I also watched Gran Turismo.
Tell us about it.
Actually better than I thought it was gonna be. I don't know why I didn't think it was gonna be like really good, but
was it really good?
It was really good.
Oh, it didn't look very good.
Is that what it is, right? Was that? Yeah, was that? Did you get that feel too when you watched the trailer? It looked kind of like okay.
It seems cheesy. But you know what I mean? Like, kid who plays video games now becomes a real driver. You know, it's like, okay, but, you know, it's based off a true story.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, exactly. And I guess that's what makes it cool. Otherwise, it's like...
Okay.
Yeah, it's almost like that movie like Invincible or something with Mark Wahlberg. He just does tryouts and he makes the team. You know, it feels like one of those movies. But, like, this really happened for this kid. There are parts where, like, they do this whole, like... it's not bad, but... it's like when he's driving, and then it's like they slowly start building the car around him, and they're like, it looks kind of cool. It looks kind of cool, but also you're like, I don't know, it's kind of cheesy. It's taken away from a certain feel of the movie. Like, what kind of movie are you trying? Are you trying to do like a Ready Player One type of thing, or are you trying to do like a serious movie
realistic
about a kid who like took this opportunity and actually became a driver?
But that doesn't happen in the video games too, so that would have been real weird to see as a video game fan.
Yeah, something. Yeah, they should have done something that was more like a nod to the actual Gran Turismo, I assume. Right.
Like filmed it in a way where you're in the first person perspective in the car that you would see in Gran Turismo, behind the car if you were like a third person type of driver in that game.
Yeah. Like focus more on that sort of stuff. But overall, really good. David Harbour, great in this movie. He plays like this mechanic who used to be a driver, and now he's like one of the top mechanics, and like the new up and coming drivers are like kind of like treat him like shit. He actually works for this one dude who's like this new like it boy, and he keeps throwing shade at David Harbour. And like at the same time, David Harbour's offered this chance from Orlando Bloom, who's like I'm trying to remember exactly, but I don't know if he's like the president or something. He has to create some kind of new thing to stir up buzz for Nissan, I believe. So he's like, he creates like, oh, what if we do this?
Like head of marketing or something like that.
Yeah. And he's like, what if we do this competition, blah, blah, blah. And then they pitch it to David Harbour, and he's like, I'm not doing that shit. Like, what, dude? I'm like a real, like, what are you talking about? These guys are going to die. Like, they've never raced before. And then when this other dude he's working for gives him too much shit, he's like, walks out the meeting. He's like, I'm in. So then brings in all these people who like compete. It follows this guy, Archie. Oh my gosh, here we go again, guys.
Manning.
Medquay.
What?
Medquay, I think.
What is it?
Hey, you know what? Look it up.
Say it again.
I'm not trying to butcher his name.
Get that clip
he
forever on the internet.
He plays the main character.
Sure.
And he's like, his brother is like a soccer player that's like clearly has like maybe a more
successful pathway
that has been seen before.
Nailed
like
it.
the dad played soccer, and his son is like really good. He's a younger brother of this kid who's like really good at Gran Turismo. He has a setup in his room and stuff. Dad doesn't fully understand it, but he's like whooping everyone's ass. And he goes down to like this internet cafe, and they have one set up. And when this thing goes out of like the competition, like if you win top thing, then you can like you get a chance to like maybe race like for real. He figures out a way to get down there, does it. Gets in, they take in the top like 10 people, or maybe even more. But then they dwindle it down to 5. David Harbour's like, no, I don't expect any of you guys to make it. Like, this is a joke. You guys suck, basically. But I'm gonna put you through the ringer.
Fuck your moms.
And yeah. But then of course, like he's great. And then they have this deal like if you get at least 4th in like these 6 races. You get 6 chances, then you can get like your license to race.
Wow.
And he ends up getting that.
That's crazy.
In like the last race, he gets 4th. And then they're like, oh, this guy is like for real. Then they start like, he ends up being a really good driver. Like it's kind of like those feel good stories you maybe like, it follows that track of any sort of movie you've seen like that before, but it's still done really well. And it is interesting going back. You're like, wow, this guy really did this? Like, this is crazy. And then even at the end of the movie, I'm like, I've got me thinking like, sometimes they do when they get an actor to represent a real life person. Usually, I'm like, the actor's good looking. I'm like, the guy's probably not good looking. And like, and then the real driver, I'm like, oh, he's not a bad looking guy. Like,
did he look pretty close to him? Actually, I know the answer because I've seen it. But did they ever do like a side by side where they're actually like standing together?
I don't remember if they did. I know they did like some footage at the end where like they had some back footage of him like driving and stuff, like the real dude.
Yeah.
Like and there's just like a couple footage and like a photo of him, but I can't remember if there was a photo of them next to each other. There may have been, but yeah, I feel like it's fair. It's not like he was, like way taller than the dude or anything. It seemed like
was it more of like a feel-good movie, do you want to say?
Kind of, but then you also like, there's like, there's lulls in it. And I guess these sort of things really happen. Yeah. But, I'm watching my kids, probably the part of the movie where like you think it's all going together and then something's going to happen. And then it does. And it follows that sort of formula. I'm also kind of a sucker for these movies where like at the very end, like they're going to win. It's going to be great. And it is. So
okay,
he becomes alcoholic.
Did you watch Flamin' Hot?
Flamin' Hot. Oh yeah,
I did not. I've been meaning to watch it. I know.
Did you watch Champions?
What is that one?
The one
with Woody Harrelson.
Yeah. And he coaches a team of
like special needs kids.
Basketball.
Yeah, neurodivergent kid. Okay, no, you didn't watch that. Did you watch
Coach Carter? Okay,
like that. Yeah, like Remember the Titans. Is this better or worse than Remember the Titans?
Oh, I think Remember the Titans was probably better.
Okay, all right.
Moving on.
The cast and
yeah,
scenes. Yeah,
I think.
Also, was Remember the Titans based on a real story?
I mean,
what was it?
The end of segregation in Alabama?
So they can make it better.
Yeah, did you hear Drake say it again?
The end of segregation in Alabama?
Yeah, was that real? What do you mean?
I don't know.
Oh, your history. No. That was rhetorical for Scott. Yeah, all right. I want to check it out because, it's actually gotten pretty positive reviews from people.
Has it?
Yeah. It has, yeah. It has.
It's not bad. It's not like super amazing, it's not like Oppenheimer or anything. It's not going to change your world. Right?
Yeah, it's like Blue Beetle for me. Like,
it's fun. It's a fun movie.
Okay.
It's fun. Yeah. Like the special effects are cool. The action's cool. The characters are pretty good. But it's not like groundbreaking. It's not like this is the most amazing movie I've ever seen. But you're like, it's good. It's definitely worth a watch. Is that how you feel about it?
Yeah, and I really like David Harbour in this. I think that might be it too. Like every time he's on screen, I'm like, man, I like this. He's doing a great job.
I think it needs to be said as well too, like motorsport at the highest levels historically is super expensive, and the route that you have to take now to get into the highest levels of motorsport it's a rich one. It's like way more than anything that you've ever thought, and this way to get into it, yes, sims are effective because people learn on sims, but to get to that highest level and be dominant, very atypical pathway. And so I think that adds to the layer of feel goodness that somebody who has essentially doesn't have the traditional route to get into it, goes through it unconventionally, makes it to the top, and is able to have that kind of success. You have to respect that.
Yeah. Can you imagine if this worked for a different type of game? Like, imagine like the best Call of Duty player. And then, like, the Navy SEALs are like, "You're in, kid."
Yeah, that don't work.
Like, they have to, like, yeah.
And then it was like, he's our best killer we got.
He wins a Purple Heart for dying in the line of duty.
Yeah. Day one. This like doesn't apply to like really any other thing. So It is cool. I mean, you did talk about, what was that real quick, that coaching thing? You're like the guy who played really good at FIFA Manager or something?
Football Manager, which is a game on the computer, and it's essentially just like a tactical game where you're essentially coaching all the aspects of the team. And now real football teams are utilizing individuals who are good at the game in order to bring them onto the team and have them work in soccer real time.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's stories like that. It's like, why did I try to be good at sports? Why didn't I just try harder at video games? Why did I do anything else? It's like, God, I should have just tried to master more games. Oh, man, kids these days. All right, we got 2 last things on the docket. Let's briefly touch on The Killer, and then let's spend a little bit more time on Invincible, because I got to get going soon.
Cool.
Talk to us about The Killer. It's The Killer, right? It's not
yes.
something else, right?
Yes.
It's the one with Magneto.
Fassbender.
Yeah, Michael Fassbender, that's right.
Yeah, Michael Fassbender. This was a cool movie. It was like kind of a slower pacing of a film. And the beginning, they give you like a little look into his world, the way he's like narrating himself, almost like a Dexter style. And he's like really like, strict with like how he does things and like...
very meticulous, very methodical, and because I did watch it, but like even when he goes to McDonald's, he's like, I'm gonna get like this and this. It's an easy way to get like 20 grams of protein before
he's got the tism
for the day. Yeah, but then you kind of find something else out after, and it kind of like breaks your mentality on it, because normally people like that, they can only be by themselves. It's painting this picture like he's completely alone and solo, and he's the kind of person that just does this 24/7. He's this guy always, and then you find something out about him and you're like, oh, that's crazy.
He runs a dairy farm.
And he's worried about his cows.
He's like more of a normal person in like regular life than you think.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, Yeah, which is cool. Yeah, because it he basically the beginning of the movie he's on this he's waiting for this kill shot, and he's on a stakeout. He talks about how like not many people can do it, blah blah blah. Like even just the sitting and waiting, and he kind of likes it. You see him doing yoga and stuff. Everything's like very. Now I'm gonna sit behind this thing for hours and look and like wait for this one shot, and he messes up the shot. Like something happens and it fucks up, and he's like, you see him like. This never happened before, and he starts like, and then he's trying to go over his mantra, like,
the internal dialogue was like, well, what do I do? No, stick to the plan. Stick to the plan. You're gonna do this. Don't trust anybody. Blah blah blah. And then it starts spiraling from this guy who seems so on it, so perfect, and then all of a sudden like shit hits the fan, and he's like, I don't know what to do. This hasn't happened before. Nope, stick to the plan. You're gonna move here. You're gonna do this. You're gonna do that, and it's like really good how they mess around with the internal dialogue that makes it more dramatic. I feel like they all of a sudden like ramps up your anxiety, right?
Yes. And then they start like you get like a better glimpse into like his world and like the people who hire him and then his personal life, and like it just starts unraveling into this thing that's just kind of got you on edge. You're like, oh my gosh, like the pacing in the beginning is so different. yeah, exactly. The pacing in the beginning is like it misleads you, I guess. It's like you're like, oh, it's gonna be like a slow burn of a movie, and then it starts picking up, and you start feeling for this dude, and then like, it's really good. Like I don't really want to ruin it, because I think you'd really like it too, Drake.
So watch it.
I think you would. Yeah, I think you'll dig it, Drake, for sure.
I'll watch it. I'll go watch it.
Then.
Yeah. How did you feel about the ending, though? Like, we're not gonna spoil anything, but like, how'd you feel about it?
I liked it. I thought it was solid the whole way through. Like it because it felt like Like I was like, oh, okay, like it's end. There's no open. It felt like that to me. Like there was no like, oh, can't wait for part 2 or whatever. Like it felt like a solid story. And I guess it could open end to something else, but it also felt like I was like, this makes sense to this character. I liked it. What was there like? Did you not like it or?
I don't know if I paid attention towards the end. It got a little, I was watching it late, and it was a little slow. And then I was like, what is this conversation? Like, what are they doing? Get to the point. You know, like.
Somebody, come on.
Yeah, I want to see her die. Or like, are they going to kill each other? You know? I know.
I know what scene you're talking about.
Yeah, it was just kind of slow. And I was just, me and Emily looked at each other when the credits came up and we're like, what? But that was my take. But I don't know if I was paying attention really well. So that's my one caveat to that. But the rest of the movie was pretty damn good. There's this part where he fights one of the dudes in who's from wrestling. I think like something Rames. I don't know.
Like, that was that big dude that
the big like Samoan guy that I think is the stunt double for The Rock.
Okay.
Yeah,
that was a cool scene they put together.
Sick. Yeah, it was sick. I was like, holy shit, that's intense. Also, I thought a steak went up his butt, but you'll have to watch it to find out where that part is.
A steak butt, okay.
Yeah, I thought so too.
Yeah, I was like, dude, that guy got fully like corn dogged on that thing.
But real quick, apparently this is based off like a French like graphic novel or something.
Oh, sick.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, that's cool.
And then I watched it a while ago, and then I knew we were going to talk about something. Like, okay, I'm going to watch a little like refresher on it on YouTube. This guy had an 8-minute video.
Oh, thanks for sharing.
Yeah. So I'll send it to you right after this. You record this. Shit, I'm sorry, dude. But based on a French graphic novel. And then I guess all the decision stuff, like there's all this like, this guy was watching it like on a deeper level than I was. He was like, yeah, so they did this because it's this. Like there's meaning behind this. There's irony behind this. And I'm like, oh, okay, I appreciate this movie a lot more now.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm assuming they all did it that way because maybe the graphic novel, they pulled it from that, and then that was better analyzed for, I'm assuming, like
to make it more realistic.
Yeah. And then, like, the symbolism and stuff, they were really able to, I guess, like, pull that from the pages and put it on the screen and stuff. So,
damn it.
Really cool movie, though.
Sick.
I'll send you that link, guys.
Thanks, bro.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks in advance. All right, moving on to Invincible. I'm not really sure. I don't remember how much of it we talked about, but we got the mid-season finale. Second part of it is coming out next year, I think in January. Ooh. So it's crazy to have this giant break, but holy shit, this is ending like a really crazy way.
Dude, yeah, the last time we talked about it was he went to the planet and then he saw his dad and he was like Mark, and he's like, and it ends. This one was the follow up, and dude, I knew it. So
you knew it? Did you know this was gonna happen?
Yeah, I remember you were like, "What do you think's gonna happen?" I'm like, "I think he's gonna team up with his dad and fight Viltrumites." I said,
yeah. So you actually knew. You were acting like it was your theory, but you already knew what was gonna happen.
No, I'm sorry.
Okay. I was like,
when I say I knew it, I didn't mean like I read it.
Oh, like
I called it.
Yeah, you called it, but like you didn't know it. I got you. And I was like, that's cheating. You didn't even say that.
Yeah, I'm never gonna brag like, I knew it, guys.
yeah. That would have been a pretty boss move, though. Drake, were you able to watch it?
Yes.
Oh hell yeah! Let's get into it.
I'm pretty sure I watched it. Right, that's the one where that you find out. Well, just spoiler alert already. You better have watched it. But
totally, we're going full spoilers on this one.
Mark has a brother, right, and then that's the same
who's
one.
Like a praying mantis.
This is the one.
Alien.
Which is kind of crazy, right? When you think about the genetics, right? So the Viltrumite does it with a praying mantis, and then it becomes a Viltrumite baby, but it just has the colors of the praying mantis. That I don't know.
I'm assuming that Viltrumite genes are just real strong.
Yeah, must be.
But they talk about it too. Like they're only allowed to breed with like things that are genetically compatible. Remember, like that was like a part in it.
I wonder.
Yeah, well, I think it was like that made me think like, are they just allowed to? Like they could probably breed with everything, but they're like, hey, don't do it with the cows, okay?
Don't breed.
Like, I'm pretty sure
with lesser beings.
Yeah, it's just like don't bestiality, but like if it has like cognition and like if like you could create a spawn, then do it. Kind of like Ego in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Wow, couldn't say that. Like where he goes in and he starts like breeding with all these different alien races to like spawn a seed, and then like that seed is then supposed. It's literally Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Actually, now I think about it.
Yeah,
but yeah,
I don't know. This episode, I thought the team up was kind of cool. I thought the action was awesome. It didn't really like surprise me as much as it just was not what I thought was going to happen, but there's definitely more tribulation because when they did end up fighting the Viltrumites, you felt as if they were going to win because that's kind of the way that the show was going to go. But at the same point in time, it was hard fought. It almost seems as if to me, if they encounter more, they're both not ready for all of that space jam.
Right. Like I was thinking, man, if good thing it was only 3, because if it was like 5,
done.
They're fucked. Like everybody dead. Like, because 3 alone was like ridiculous.
Real hard.
Yeah. Like even for Omni-Man not to be able to, like he kind of does an okay job with the first guy and you think he's dead. Did you guys think he was dead? As soon as he stabbed him in there, I was like, that guy's not dead. I knew he was coming back.
No,
I felt like that was like the only kind of obvious part.
I thought he was dead. I don't know.
You did? The first, like, it was like the big black dude in the beginning.
Yeah, because I was like, they're strong, but I'm like, his guts are out, dude. And then he got stabbed. I'm like, he's probably dead.
I don't know. I just had this feeling. I was like, Darrell, he's not dead.
It is interesting how like Omni-Man didn't like be definite with it. Because when he was messing with the Justice League of, I forget what they're called.
He was slamming everybody's heads.
Yeah.
If you watch that back, he's slamming heads, stomping heads. This one was like, yeah, his guts are out. Good.
I think because he kept going back to check with his family. It seems he cares more now. Like in the first season of Invincible, he's definitely on a mission. Because remember they touched on that in this where he's like, he's mad at Mark. And he's like, why do I feel this way? Like fuck you. I'm not supposed to be like this. And he's like, this is what you should have felt on Earth. And he was like, he's taking it back.
That was great.
Like, fuck, like he's feeling it too late, you know? Like now he's turning into the person he should have been. That's why I like this episode though, because there was a lot of like good emotional like
stakes in the battle.
And, like even like what's it, Stephen Ewan?
Yeah, Stephen Ewan.
He did a great job of like, you know, you felt for him where he's like, you know, like, dude, fuck you, dude. Like you left. And then you basically got the situation you had on Earth, and you're guilting me into helping you because you know I'm a good person. Like that's fuck you, dude.
Right? And why did you do that for me and my mom, and you're doing it for like these random aliens? Like, how could you not feel this way about me? Yeah, he brought that across so well. Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. Maybe it sounds like I'm shitting on this episode, but I really, really liked it. I was like, holy crap, Invincible's back. Like this was the episode for me. It was like, yes, I needed this one, and just. you're right. You feel it from Stephen Yeun. You're like, damn, why didn't he love him? You know, he calls, Invincible's mom a pet, but somehow this alien that only lives for a year is like the love of his life and like wants to take care of her and the kid. It's like, what?
It definitely, it shows Viltrumites don't necessarily have humanity, but then exposed to humanity for a long period of time, they potentially could possibly have it.
Yeah. Or he's
that's interesting.
That's actually really good.
Yeah, I see it that way.
I think maybe the situation with the new wife and the kid is like, he might not even, I mean, with his kid, he might like this new kid as much as Mark. I feel like he does love Mark, and he probably does love his first wife. Now, I think he looks back now and he's like, I fucked that up. There's no way you can come back from like killing thousands of people and then the world knowing you, like, we're there to take control. Mm-hmm. But he's like, well, I'm not going to fuck up again. So if I do it again, I'm going to do it right. Mm. And I think that's like this new wife, I don't think he probably maybe doesn't love her as much as he loved the first wife, but he's like, what else can I do but not fuck up again?
Right, but then to go all in the way I should have.
I gotta just go all in. But that was a crazy way to like introduce like, hey Mark, come in here, I gotta tell you about something. And then he's like, hey lady, like they kiss my tongue. I'm like, what the hell, dude?
Yeah, like, that was a little weird for me, I'm not gonna lie.
Even if that's how you do it on that planet, like, your son, like, what are you talking? Like,
yeah, like he's not going to be cool with that. One other thing I did like in this episode was how it picks up right where season 1 leaves off, I guess. And like he floats through space and you see him like becoming more and more depressed in a way of like what he had done. Yeah, I was like, oh, you're right. Like Drake, I think he like learned humanity and love and care from Earth. And that's, I always find it interesting when comics justify why Earth is special, right? Because if there's billions of planets in the galaxy, like, how does every big comic book event happen in Earth? And it's either like, it's the center of like this nexus, or it's, this is the place where people learn human emotions and like, that's cool. I liked that part of it. But then, to bring in your son and then like tongue kiss of praying mantis, it's pretty weird.
I Googled how long Viltrumites can hold their breath, and it says about 2 weeks.
2 weeks, right? But Mark can only do it for like hours, right?
Yeah,
because only half.
I forgot if they even covered that, but I'm like, because he's flying through space and he's like sitting in space, and I'm like, he's growing a beard. I'm like, man, like it makes me feel like he's been out there for like months, but I'm like, there's no way unless he's popping off getting air somewhere and come back out.
Nah, he's just one of those burly dudes. Out there.
You can grow it out in 2 weeks, I guess.
Yeah, he's just a burly motherfucker. He gets like keeps on his chin. He's just one of those guys that grows like a man beard fast.
Fast. I'd say 2.
A mirror.
Yeah. This is cool. The battle. I mean, there's definitely going to be a moment where I think the Viltrumites find out even more. Like, it seems like a lot of the heroes are meeting their match, getting defeated, and then like coming back with more. What's the word I'm looking for? Like where they're
Gumption.
Just eager. Oh. Maybe gumption or resolution. And now they're like, all right, we're going to be serious this time. I mean, we even saw it with Alan the Alien, like his one eyeball shot out, but he's not dead. So homie's coming back. Him and Mark, are going to even level up again. Adam Eve is still there. She's going to level up. And like the new team that they're showing, like the new Guardians that they have on Earth, they're learning more how to fight too. Like it's going to be an all out war at some point. I don't know if it's season 3 or season 4, where it's going to be like all of them standing against like a pretty decent army of Viltrumites. And it's going to be heavy because not everybody's going to make it.
Yeah. For a second, I thought, I was kind of hoping like he'd be able to train with his dad when he's like, I'll train you. Like, I was hoping it'd be like a Dragon Ball kind of thing where it's like, because I'm like, how much more could you teach him than probably more like just be brutal. Now that I watched the whole season or the whole episode, probably just like you have to kill.
I think that's it. Like, stop governing yourself. Like, rip that off. Don't cap your power. Like, you got to go for kill or nothing. Otherwise, they're going to murder you. And I think that's the lesson. Like, Mark's going to have to fight like he's trying to kill them. It's like Superman in Man of Steel when he kills Zod at the end. It's like he didn't want to do it, but there's no way he can contain him or stop him if he doesn't. Yeah. And I think that's the level Mark's going to have to do. But, like, him not killing is what makes him the best hero. Yet at the same time, he's not going to have an option if he wants to save like the people he cares about on Earth.
Yeah. And it is interesting because I didn't read this far. So, it was interesting. Like they're taking the dad away. I feel like because he's such a big character, he's probably not gonna die. But then, for the story's sake, that character could very well die when he's like, "Okay, we're taking your dad back. He's gonna be executed, but now you have to do his mission," which is crazy. Because then it's like, I'm just interested to see what he's. You definitely have to go back and just tell them like, they want me to be Omni-Man now, basically, and like take over. Right?
Yeah.
But then how do you stop Viltrumites? Like a whole army, if they all came down, like how would you even
Yeah.
I don't even think the new Guardians could. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
and even more so, they're not gonna the Earthlings aren't gonna trust him because they already don't trust him. So now that they've spoken about you gotta be him and he's having pressure from the Viltrumites, is he a double agent or what is it? So that even more intrigue.
Yeah, because that's the whole point of like the first couple of episodes is like Cecil doesn't trust him because he knows his dad. Yeah, I don't know.
Unless
what?
Mark starts banging a bunch of these mantises and just creates his own army.
Yeah. Full frontal banging.
There you go. Yeah.
Invincible family.
It's just going to be like, we get back from the mid-season whatever break, and then he's just like tongue kissing a bunch of mantises in a hot tub. Yeah.
Do it.
We're all for it.
Yep.
Yeah. Equal opportunities. Get it where you can, you know? Get it where you can.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay. So we'll definitely be covering it next year when it comes back. Everybody stay tuned. We got our last 2 episodes of the year. We have a very special Christmas episode. And then we have our yearly top picks for the shticks, which is our New Year's episode, kind of recapping the year, some of our favorites, and what we look forward to in 2024. So stay tuned. Thank you guys so much. As always, share this with everybody else out there. We always appreciate it. If you feel so kind, leave us a review, and we will be back next week. And as always,
thanks for sticking it to me, us, you.
To Drake. Give it to me.
The Joystick Show.
if you've enjoyed what you've been listening to, we'd really appreciate a follow, subscribe, and a review. Just how we like chatting with our friends, please share this with yours. Feel free to join the squad and follow us at JoystickShow Joystick Show on Twitter and Instagram, or anywhere you listen to podcasts. And if you feel like submitting topics or questions to be discussed on future episodes, you can email us at joystick.show@gmail.com. As always, thank you, peace out, and make it a great rest of your week.